and welcome. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm back. It's great to be back, and I'm so thankful that you are here with me months after my last Flosstube update. My name is Sarah, my pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel about the cross-stitch projects I'm working on that I can finally share, and the cross-stitch project patterns that I design. You can find me on Instagram and Etsy at ModCross. You can find printed patterns from your local and online needlework shops. And I'm so happy that you're here. Today is Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 17. So when I posted my last video at the beginning of September, I did not think it was going to be over 2 months before my next update, but it is, but I'm back. The primary reason behind my absence was that all of the stitching I've been doing has either been on models or for gifts. And so I've finally had a few fully finished objects that I can now share, and I have some news, which is exciting. And I have quite a bit of stash acquisition. So a couple FFOs and a fair amount of shopping is what is in store for this video. First, again, it is November 20th. Today is the Trans Day of Remembrance, remembering all those trans people who have lost their lives. And just want to take a minute to acknowledge that it's been a hard few weeks for a lot of us, I think, following the US election. And just a reminder to reach out, to listen with kindness, to do what you can. Here in Iowa, OneIowa and the Iowa Trans Mutual Aid Fund are two really good resources. There are nationwide, worldwide resources. Please support what you can and support people directly if possible. So I wanted to take a minute and to acknowledge that at the top of the video. There's really no transition for that. Fully finished objects. Yeah, I know that a lot of us have been stitching our feelings, and I have been lucky to have deadlines and things coming up that have kept me focused in my stitching, but I'm hoping to do some more kind of craftivism meaningful ones for myself as well as we go into the winter, which tends to be my heaviest stitching season. I know Dee of Dee's 20 Stitches is working on a new Let's Make a Statement, so excited for that when it is ready. And until then, there's a lot that we can do for our own well-being and for others. So fully finished objects. Most of September and into October was spent on my newest release, which is called Masterpiece in Progress. And I always meant it to be a project bag panel to be used then in fully finished form as a project bag. And because I do not have a great relationship with sewing machines, and my mom is an extraordinary sewist and quilter, she turned into a project bag for me. So this is Masterpiece in Progress. This is an idea I have had for years and never took the time, never kind of made it up the list to sit down and have me actually do it. And then I signed up to be part of the Stitchy Goodness Words and Phrases Zine. So this is an offshoot of the Stitchers Collective, and it's a zine or an online magazine of 15 different designs from 15 designers who all belong to the group. And words and phrases was the theme, and I love designing fonts and stitching words, and hopefully some of you do as well. So there's 15 designs, all sorts of words, phrases, vibes, mantras, all sorts of good things. And I somehow decided that I would design the largest piece I've ever designed. I didn't intend for it to be the largest piece ever. I want it to be big enough to be a good-sized project bag, but also masterpiece is a long word. And so this is what we ended up with. Yeah, I started out, I designed it, and then I looked, and it was over 300 stitches wide. So I got it down to 212. This is 212 stitches wide, and I forgot to write it down. I think 130-ish stitches high. This fabric, which is incredible, is 32 count Lilith from BeStitchMe, and it uses 3 different colors of Rainbow Gallery Petite Treasure Braid. So I got 6 different colors of gold, just 6 different shades of gold, and I did little swatches, sample stitches on the fabric, and these were the 3 I came up with. So there's a lighter, obviously the darker is in the center of each of the words, and then there's a middle, medium kind of transition. One, it's all full cross except for the spools at the top. It's just straight stitches, but the rest is full cross, and I love it. I love how it turned out. I don't mind stitching with Petite Treasure Braid. It was a lot to be only stitching with Petite Treasure Braid for about 5 weeks, but thankfully I had a needle threader that I'd received as a gift, and I'd never used a needle threader before. I'm a, lick it and put spit all over everything and then put it through the needle type person. But yeah, that really came in handy with the metallic floss. So I highly recommend trying out a needle threader if you haven't already. I also use beeswax thread conditioner on all of my metallic threads. So I did for this as well. Because it's metallic, it's just 1 strand, and I think it looks great. So this is technically the front of the bag. So my mom made this for me, of course. I went on a shop hop with her at the end of September, her and my dad, and we were able to find this fabric, which is a little bit metallic gold and went really well. And then this is actually a batik fabric. It's not the cross stitch fabric. I cannot believe this little shop in Strawberry Point, Iowa. We found both of these. And it matches the cross stitch fabric perfectly. I still can't quite believe it. So, always intended to be a project bag panel. And then Miriam over at Marumi Designs reminded me that aren't we all masterpieces in progress? So feel free to create a nice home for your stitching masterpieces, or frame it as a reminder to yourself that you as well are a masterpiece in progress. So to get this, visit stitchygoodnesszine.com. I will put that up on the screen along with the other patterns that are in the collection. This was on sale as of November 17th, and it will be available through January 17th. So there's 2 months to purchase it. It is $30 US for the 15 patterns. After that, there will be another waiting period. I think it's 4 months. And then the individual designers can release their designs if they so choose after that. So it'll be probably summer before you would be able to see any individual ones for sale. So just to give you an idea of the timeline there. So yeah, the Stitchy Goodness Zine Words and Phrases collection, masterpiece in progress. So my mom's sewing tasks were not complete, however, because I said, well, I also have this other finish that I was hoping you could sew something for me. So if you have been here for a while, or if you follow any of my other dear needle minders, Miriam, Nithya of Daybreak Stitchery, or Julie of Julian Stitches 16, you'll know that we had what we called our lemon projects. So these are projects that we've had for a while, haven't been making progress on, just need kind of a guidance and a little oomph to get them finished. We still want to have them, we still want to stitch them, but for some reason they're just not coming up to top of mind when we're ready to stitch. And mine was a series of Rosie the Riveters by Esperanza Art and Punt, ARTENPUNT on Instagram. Everything I talk about and mention will be in the description box below, FYI. And I had finished one of the Rosie the Riveters. It's a series of 4, and I had started on the second one and kind of got stuck and lost steam. And so the needle minders said, you know, they helped me come up with a plan. They said, don't worry about stitching 3 and 4, just worry about getting number 2 done. And then after that, you can see how you feel about the other ones. And we decided to leave off the "we can do it" text that you typically see above Rosie on the second one. And then I could finish them vertically. The idea was I was going to finish them vertically, or have someone finish them for me, vertically into a wall hanging for my daughter's room. And so on the same shop hop, we found some red and white fabric, we found some blue fabric, and my mom put it together for me. So my parents came to visit last weekend, and my mom brought me both of the beautiful goodies. So this one I started for #StitchAsia. I think the first, when Abby Bella Stitch first started it, which I believe was 2021. And I actually finished most of it in that month, that March of 2021. And I started the second one. And then she kind of languished, sometimes as a travel project. It's on 16 count Tweety Bird Aida, so it made for good travel stitching, called for DMC. And I finished this on the way back from our family vacation in August to the Black Hills of South Dakota. So now they are here because my mom is extra. There's a dowel all ready to hang. There's the back. So it's amazing. I might not put it in the kids' room. We might have to put it, we have to put it in the living room so I can look at it more. So there are my 2 Rosie the Riveters, fully finished and ready for display. So thank you, Mom. I so appreciate your willingness to help and your talent and your creativity, because, you know, I had to get it from somewhere. So thank you very much. So that's all the stitching I can show. I am currently on deadline for next Halloween, so I'm still in Halloween stitching mode here. So be sure to look for news on that next summer. But I have been able to visit quite a few needlework shops and purchase quite a few things. Nope, just kidding. We're backing up. There's one more ModCross related, one more ModCross related thing. I did put out a new freebie. I have not done any freebies yet this year, and this one had been on my mind to do, and so I decided that to go out with a newsletter where I announced that my Needlework Marketplace releases are now available as PDFs in my Etsy shop. I also wanted to include a freebie for that for my newsletter subscribers. This is the current freebie. It is still available, and so if you have not signed up for my newsletter, I do very sporadic, not regular at all updates. Maybe a resolution for 2025, I don't know. But as for right now, it's not going to clog your inbox with hardly anything. But this is the current freebie available if you sign up, if you haven't already, and this is called Good Enough. So I struggle with perfectionism, as I think a lot of us probably do. And this was really a way to remind myself that good enough is both good and it is enough. That there's not a need in most cases to put the insane amount of pressure on ourselves to reach perfection for things that don't require perfection. And so it was for me, but hopefully it will resonate with some of you as well. I have not stitched the model yet. See earlier deadlines, but I did pick out my materials. So I've kitted it up. So I'm going to use this amazing scrap of fabric that I picked up from somebody at the Needle Minders retreat over the summer. And then I'm going to use my first Pirate and Robin silk, which I'm super excited about. This was from Julie. This is Sugar Plum Fairy. And Threadworx 01009. I'm sure it has a cool name, but I haven't looked it up. So those are going to be my 2 colors for when I do eventually stitch my own freebie. So again, that is available at the link in the description box. and I promise I don't send out too many emails. The other part of that email was, yes, the releases that I had for Needlework Marketplace in August are still available as printed patterns from local and online needlework shops, but they're also available through my Etsy shop if you prefer a PDF download. So that's the Ready for Takeoff and Ready for Landing Christmas ornaments, that Spooky Skyline, the Cat in the Hot Air Balloon, and Cosmo Bloom, the latest in the Bloom series. So those are now available there. So now moving on to stash acquisition and other things. And I'm going to start with a little bit of stitchy kindness, because on top of finishing my projects into fantastic, fully finished objects, my mom also found this at a thrift shop for me. It just says "Peace be with you," but really pretty colors, really nice, simple design. Just really sweet. So the streak of finding amazing things at thrift shops continues. Found some really good stitching this year. So thanks, Mom. Looks like a pretty standard Aida. It might be 16 count actually. It looks a little smaller than 14. So yeah, thank you. I don't think, looking back at my notes, I don't believe I had my personal order from Needlework Marketplace in yet when I recorded my last video, and so I just thought I'd share what I got with everybody, and kind of remind myself as I get into kind of winter stitching, what do I want to work on, sort of things. So I got Blue Moon from the Artsy Housewife. Honestly, I could have gotten everything that's the Artsy Housewife releases. I don't belong to any Patreon memberships at the moment, but I'm really tempted by hers. Every month she puts, she posts what the Patreon exclusives are, and they're just, everything's so good. And Lord knows I don't need more patterns in my life, but hers are really, really good. So I thought, if and when I finally finish Pretty Bird from the Artsy Housewife, which is currently in progress for the Artsy Fartsy Sal with the Needleminders, that Blue Moon would be a nice companion. So Blue Moon. And then I had to get Christmas Crow from Christy at Pixel Pixie. Dear Santa, I want shiny things, please. So I love it. The floss, it calls for a Threadworx, a Gentle Arts, a Classic Colorworks, and then 2 DMC. So I have not worked on kitting this up yet. I could probably, I think, do it from stash if I have some fun enough variegated flosses. So I have not looked into that yet, but I think maybe as a holiday gift to myself, I might have to take the time to do this one. It's 67 by 55. I can do that, right? Right? We shall see. And then, again, I don't know why I'm stitching all these things for my children. My children are keeping me from stitching in the first place. But the Grow Your Own Way collaboration from Poutini and Romy's Creations. I couldn't say no, and I can't decide. I kind of want to do a long wall hanging for the girls, but also these little mushrooms are adorable. And so I just don't know. And so each designer had the pattern for 2 of the critters. So you do need to get them both if you are interested. So Grow and Your is from Romy, and then Own Way is from Poutini. So cute. I do want to give a shout out. I did my shopping through Bee Youtiful Sip Stitchery in Illinois. The Needleminders and I got to visit Brett and Chris and the crew there over the summer, and I had kind of a wrap-up video in my last Flosstube with pictures from the shop and things. So huge thanks to them, and just a fabulous, fabulous new shop that we want to support. Nuri from Shaded Stitchery was at Marketplace for the first time with some of her things, and I kind of can't believe I only bought one, but I remember why, because my 4-year-old woke up in the middle of the night, and I was sitting in her room trying to get her to go back to sleep, and it was like 4:30 in the morning, and I thought, I haven't done my market pre-orders yet. And so I was doing it on my phone at 4:30 in the morning, And I got to the checkout and looked at the total and I was like, oh man, that's too much even for 4:30 a.m. Sarah, right? And so I settled on Closely Kept number 4. I have the other ones in the series. This is one of those, I mean, they're so good. They're all based on photograph cases that are in a historical museum. And you could stitch the design. You could stitch a CC version where you stitch around and the design is blank. And honestly, I don't know which one I like better. I might have to do them both. I mean, just think of the possibilities with colors and material choices. It could be anything, and it's going to look amazing. This is another one, 63 by 71. Now that I'm done stitching 212 stitches wide in metallic thread, you know, the possibilities are endless. So Closely Kept from Shaded Stitchery. I love Hello from Liz Matthews. That's another one whose Patreon is just so good. So many good charts. And I could not leave October Quakers off. Both of them. I mean, look at this. And again, color options. I mean, you could go spooky. You could go fall. You could go spring, although, you know, with maybe changes to the acorns. So I love her stuff, and I had not added to my Liz Matthews pile in a while, which is probably good, but I couldn't say no to this one. So October Quakers. And then Urban Stitches was also an exhibitor, and look at this frog in a dress with these amazing flowers. So Sean's specialty is backstitching or blackwork, and I've never really done a 100% blackwork piece before, and something about this one just jumped out at me. And I think part of the reason was honestly because at the beginning of August I went to the Iowa State Fair and I saw the needlework exhibits for the first time, and there was a whole blackwork category, and it was just like this, oh my gosh, I have to try that. And then this came out like a few weeks later. And so I was like, well, that's that then. So I love it. I can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to see what the pattern looks like. I mean, it's just like a whole nother world. And I love that her tagline is stitches you never knew you needed, because that's exactly what this is. I did not know I needed it until I saw it, and now I have it. So 114 by 110 blackwork. It'll be interesting to see if it goes faster, if it actually goes faster, if it just feels like it goes faster. I think either one's a win, right? Does anybody have experience with blackwork? And if I am going to enter it at the fair someday, do you have like tips on keeping it neat? Is it similar to keeping stitches neat, kind of going opposite directions and all that kind of thing? Let me know if you have any tips in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. Looking forward to kitting this one up too. So that was my Needlework Marketplace. God, it feels like it was so long ago. It is November 20th. That was a long time ago. Moving on. This fabric I have had on my wish list for a long time. This is Needle and Flax Sturdy Teacup. And Needle and Flax is a very small dyer, and she does a lot of dyeing to order, and it's a long wait period. And I've been trying to kit up Dasher and Dancer from Hobby House Press. And I know I've talked about this before because it has been an ongoing saga, but I want to stitch this in green. It is in a variegated red. And trying to match green floss with a beigey undertone that's green is really something that has to be done in person. And then when you add in kind of the grungy look, which I really like, it's been a challenge. And I always had Dirty Teacup in the back of my mind as a beautiful grungy neutral, but I've never actually had any. So the dyer posted that she would have selected amounts of some fabric that was already dyed and ready to ship available that weekend or something. And so I set my alarm and I got on her website, and sure enough, she had some 36 count dirty teacup available as already dyed, ready to ship. So got a fat quarter because I figured even if it didn't work for Dasher and Dancer, I would have it, because if I'm gonna go with a beigey neutral, I want it to be a little bit grungy, and this definitely delivers on that. So one of the other things that I did among my shopping was looked for overdyed green floss, and a lot of the stuff I found was beautiful, but it had some definite extremes. So it was like super dark to like a spring green, and I didn't need it to go that far because I think that takes away from the Christmassy feel. But I finally found this from Threadworx. This is 010485, and I think it's just enough. It doesn't come through super well on the screen, but when you lay it out, it really is like dark forest green through like a light for, I mean, it's variegated within like the forest green category. It's not going to a Kelly green or a spring green. So I think I may have settled on my floss. Nithya suggested another one that she just saw on another channel, so I need to check that out for sure. Threadworx does come in larger skeins as well, so if I settled on this, I could definitely get a larger skein, and that might be enough to do the whole piece. I'm not sure. So the other fabric that I had in stash that I was considering is, it's really crinkly, I'm sorry, 36 count Millstone by LFA Linens. This was a fabric of the month that Julian Stitches gifted to me. And so definitely more of a green undertone, especially when you put them together. It's like, oh yeah, that's definitely more of a green undertone. So yeah, I think I'm leaning toward the Millstone, but I'm really happy to have Dirty Teacup in stash because I know I will be able to use it. And either one would be beautiful. So I need to stop dithering and just pick one already and get that project started because it's huge and I'm going to need some time. So speaking of traveling and needlework shops, I have had the pleasure of being able to visit, excuse me, Prairie Rose Needleworks in Ames, Iowa, which is about 45 minutes away from me, multiple times this fall, luckily. And Amanda was kind enough, the owner, to offer to host my trunk show. And so I took it down last week, and now through probably the middle of January, you will be able to see ModCross models in the wild. She has a large inventory of charts. So if you are looking for something, give Prairie Rose a call or an email. I know she's been working on redoing her website for online shopping as well. Prairie Rose Needleworks in Ames, and that's Amanda, and she's great. So one of the times I was down there, I had to pick up the Between Friends Fall Edition. This is a collaboration between Hands-On Design and Summer House Stitchworks. I have the summer book. I have not invested in the spring one yet, but I probably will. And knowing the two of them, when they do the winter one, it's also going to be fabulous. Tons of different projects in here. They are all beautiful. I'm trying to find the one that really got me. I don't know if you can quite see it. The one that really got me is this needle roll here with the blue and the orange pumpkin. There's something about it that I really, really love. So then there's these cute ribbons, like you stitch ribbons and then can wrap up pillows or other things in them. There's these adorable little pumpkins. I am a sucker for a white pumpkin. So lots of good stuff, lots of good fall stuff. Then of course there's a big sampler in each one, it's not a small. So invested in this to add to the collection. And I did want to mention that the trunk show before mine, she hosted Kat from Sprouting Lupine Stitches. She had her trunk show up before that, kind of for the Halloween season, and that I got some pictures of that as well one of the times I was down there, and it was so fun to see those models in person. The colors were just amazing when you could get up close to them. So that's definitely bumped some of the Sprouting Lupine designs to the top of my to stitch list, because I have several of those as well. We need more hours. We need more hours in the day. So I mentioned the quilt shop hop that my mom and dad and I went on, and one of the main reasons my mom wanted to get me to Northeast Iowa for the shop hop was to go to the Backstitch in Elkader, Iowa. And it's a shop that she's been to before for quilting, but they also had, I believe in her words, some cross stitch people. I love you, Mom. This was a lot of cross stitch. I found out as we were going around to other shops and kind of mentioned where all we were going. I found out that it was a cross stitch shop first, and then they added the quilting side on because so many people were looking for fabrics for finishing and also are just multi-crafters. And so it was fun to see someplace that my mom had gone for quilting, and then I walked in and there was so much stitching stuff. I mean, patterns from like ye olden days. I started going through baskets like a madwoman trying to find work basket patterns for Miriam and Julie, and sadly I did not find any. It was slightly overwhelming. And you know, you'd be flipping through and there'd be like the hand-drawn patterns and the patterns with the actual printed out photograph stuck to the cover. And then you would see like 3 new releases from Needlework Marketplace. and it was an amazing kind of conglomeration of old stash and new stuff. And it was wild. It was a little bit overwhelming. They had tons of flosses. They had, full lines of all the usuals. They had Karen water lilies. They had, I think, Silken Colors. They had the most Jabco buttons, the Just Another Button Company buttons that I've ever seen. They were in like the plastic jewelry box organizer cases or the bead organizer cases. And there was an entire shelf of these cases with buttons in them. And like, I didn't even know where to start with those. And then there was pearl cotton for punch needle. There was all sorts of things. And so I managed to walk out with some floss and some Lady Dot Creates Grape Fizz chenille trim. So the Halloween model I'm working on right now has a variegated purple for the text. And so I'm going to see as I finish it as a flat fold if this is a good trim or if I should stick to more kind of neutral black. But I wanted to have it as an option. So that is what I picked up there, along with some gift flosses for other people for Christmas and holidays. So yeah, that one was unexpected and slightly overwhelming. And I took some videos, so I'm going to insert that here. The Backstitch, Elkader, Iowa. Highly recommend, and I'm looking forward to going back now that I know, like, I'm mentally prepared for what I'm getting myself into. So I'll put that in here. Okay, that is all of my stash acquisition. Hopefully that will be all for a while. It is holiday shopping season and birthdays are coming up, and so hopefully I will not be feeling the need to purchase anything else. I did purchase, there was a literacy charity bookmark bundle going around with some truly amazing designs, lots of our favorite people. I did support that. It is now over. So I apologize that I didn't get on early enough to talk about it, but I look forward to stitching some of those things and showing them off, hopefully, and that will be it for the spending for the foreseeable future. Farm updates. I'm actually looking out the window. I'm bundled up. I'm looking out the window. We have our first snow flurries of the season here today in north central Iowa. It has gotten cold very quickly. It was almost 70 degrees a few days ago, I think. I thought I was ready for winter, you know, ready to hunker down and stay inside and stitch more. Now that I see snow in the air, I'm not so sure that I'm entirely ready, but I don't think it's going to accumulate much. This was just a little taster to remind us that it is coming and we should probably be ready. We have baby piglets back on the pasture. We've been farrowing for about 2 months now, and I think we just had the last sow finally farrowed over the weekend or late last week. So that'll be good. We can get everybody where they need to be for the winter. We had our last calf of the year. Brown Swiss heifer was born 2 weekends ago. So it feels like things are winding down. Harvest is in. We were done, I think, a week before Halloween, even getting the crop in, because there were no rain days. There were no days off. We started and we just kept going because it was dry and there was no rain. We've had some rain since then, thankfully, which is good. We really needed it. And I think they just finished putting fertilizer on and all of kind of the fall fieldwork stuff. So it feels like things are getting crossed off the list. Not as many things off of my husband's list as I was hoping, but it goes on. And now we're getting ready for school holiday concerts. My husband, me, and our 2 girls all have birthdays between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. So that's coming up very quickly. It's going to get a little bit nuts around here, even more than it usually is, in a different way than it usually is. So I will put some video of the piglets in the pasture because it's just one of my favorite things. And I'll put that in there for you to enjoy here. Okay, the only thing I have left is my Up Next segment. This is where I recommend a Flosstube channel or sometimes other things that I've been enjoying that I think you might enjoy as well if you haven't already checked them out. Today, I don't know if this is going to be a new channel for anybody because they have exploded, but I have been enjoying Cross Stitch the Globe here on YouTube. It is Allison and Stephanie. They are sisters. And Stephanie travels a lot and does a lot of travel photography, and she's been turning some of those amazing photographs into beautiful cross-stitch patterns as well. So check her out. And then what they've done with their channel, they have regular Flosstube updates, but then they also have a lot of Flosstube extras where they talk about the most expensive kits, cross-stitch kits on eBay in the last year, or great seasonal roundups of freebie patterns, and just a lot of extra kind of beyond the usual Flosstube stuff, which is really, really fun to watch. And it's just something different. It's something, just a little different take on kind of, you know, different aspects of our favorite hobby. They also do a Flosstube University, going over just the basics of stitching, which I know I'm going to turn to when I finally convince my sister to learn and to get to that project that she kitted up at BeStitchMe. It's okay, Munchkin. I know that you're like on Christmas project deadline at the moment, but after that, I'm coming for you. So Cross Stitch the Globe, Allison and Stephanie, highly recommend. They're so fun to watch and really, really enjoy their channel. There's a lot to offer. So that is that is a wrap on this rusty bumbling sort of a Flosstube episode with very little stitching to actually show. Thank you so much for sticking with me this long. If you stuck with me this long, like put a cow or a pig or something in the comments. Yeah, I so appreciate you. And as we move forward, I will close as I always do with do what you can when you can and happy stitching. But I would also add listen with kindness. It's a phrase that I heard earlier today that has stuck with me. So listen with kindness and happy stitching. Bye, everybody.